Governor Phil Murphy, her counterpart in New Jersey, is not a fan of this either. And he said this in a statement in November. All of us need to listen to the message that voters across America sent last Tuesday, which is that the vast majority of Americans are experiencing severe economic strains and still feeling the effects of inflation. And as you know, I'm not sure how much the rest of the country knows, but New Jersey and New York are you're constantly going back and forth. I work in New Jersey. I live in New York. I'm constantly going across the state lines each day. What are your constituents saying? Because they're in Queens. I'm sure a handful of them more so are traveling back and forth between Queens and Manhattan.
Oh, 100%. And we have the issue of, for 17 weeks, the A line, the only train to take from my district, from the most southern portion of the district in the Rockaways throughout Howard Beach and Broad Channel, the only train will be out of service for 17 weeks for much needed repair. Why? Why would Kathy Hochul choose to do this to people who are paying their taxes, working in Manhattan, and now they have no way to get there? So we're able to provide more ferry service, more express buses, shuttle buses to areas where they could catch the A train. But that takes time. And these people are on time constraints. They may have a child that has to go to daycare, and it doesn't work with the time frame of a shuttle bus or another type of means to get to work. They will use their car, and they will pay the exorbitant tax. And that's what Kathy Hochul's hoping for. She's hoping for this to be her own dividend on a slot machine that has her name on it.
Do you think this is going to potentially drive people out of New York? Because I have talked to people from both sides of the aisle who have strong opinions about this either way. Some feel like it's a great idea. Others feel like this is a slap in the face because New York is already expensive. Do you think this will be the straw that broke the camel's back in some situations here?
It definitely can be. And I keep saying that each time they put in some other, veiled tax on us, that it'll be the last straw, that people will not vote these people back into office, but they do. But what I think is that that people will start to leave. They have started to leave, and it's like it's flight or fight. And at this point, when you cannot take a subway but without putting your life in danger, what options do you have? What is Kathy Hochul telling us? So she got on the subway herself, but she had a full detail and the car was empty. Let her take the A train when someone's getting beaten on that same train, in that car, and she's alone without her detail. That's what our commuters are seeing every day. Let her be the person who was just thrown on the tracks and by the grace of God was not killed. People who were put on fire. We have had close to 5 or 7 violent incidences since the first of the year on our subways. They're simply not safe, and it's not perception, it's a reality.
That's an interesting point of this entire conversation, is that people feel that the subway's not safe. And the same day or within days of Governor Kathy Hochul posting that selfie with subway riders saying, hey, the subway's safe. Someone was burnt to death on the subway. There were multiple stabbings. Someone, as you said, was pushed onto the tracks. There's videos of people now lining the wall of the subway. They don't even want to stand on the platform because they're afraid they might get shoved onto the tracks. Do you think that there should have been more of an effort to ensure subway safety if this tax is insisting or hoping that people get onto the subway? Do you think there should have been more to ensure that people feel safe riding to and from on the subway?
Absolutely. It's like building a building without a foundation. And that's what this is. This is putting in the tax, saying we're going to get the money, telling us that we should use the subway and that we should take our lives in our hands. Or do we want to wind up like Daniel Penny, having to be in a position to be a good Samaritan and then face losing your freedom if the jury doesn't get it right? This is a recipe for disaster. Kathy Hochul is a disaster, and I'd like to see Kathy Hochul and congestion pricing get the boot.
What is next here for congestion pricing? Is there anything that can be done? Because I'm thinking about your constituents, because you said the one train is shut down for 17 weeks. A few years ago, I lived in Queens, and sometimes during the weekend, my line was shut down. So then you would take the bus to a different line, and it would make the commute that was usually 45 minutes, sometimes an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours. So What can you or are you planning to do anything about congestion pricing or anything like that?
We're working with our federal representatives, Nicole Malliotakis in particular, and she's working with the administration that is coming into office on January 20th, and we're hoping that we get relief on that level.
Well, Councilmember, per usual, I appreciate your insight. I appreciate the conversation. Happy 2025, and I look forward to many more conversations this year.
Absolutely. Happy New Year. May it be safe.